All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own independent financial advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, Dennis, Spain inflicted a little pain on the market, but the resiliency of this market just comes roaring back.
Yeah, it really does, Joel. Just yesterday, Spain got downgraded a couple notches there, right around 5 o'clock, and the whole market pulled back 6, 7 points. Kind of almost, I was thinking the same thing. I actually ended up buying a little bit of spies just on the pullback there, just thinking that maybe, this is actually going to shrug it off, and the market does just that. We come in today and we're up 4 more points.
Yep, and making new highs as we speak, back above that critical $1,400 level. I'm about to throw in the towel, Dennis, on my bearish predictions there. I did waver a little bit when we made that double bottom at the 1354 level, but here we are, right back at 1400, only 20 points off the high of the move, 1419.75. Maybe we'll get there today with a little bit of a good GDP number. Moving on to the market movers, Amazon all over the map in the pre-market, Dennis. Actually, they had this thing trading down last night before the earnings, and then lo and behold, they come out good.
Blasted off, Joel. This thing beat by a wide, wide margin. I think the numbers were 27 versus a 7-cent estimate, so they blew the numbers away. It's up 32 points right now, so I'll take you out to the weeklies because the monthlies won't do you any good. If you do look back in October, we had multiple highs, which was a ways away from here, 246.71. There was 2 days in a row there, the same exact high, Joel. And then 240, we had a couple highs there too. We're 12 bucks away from 240. So, but I still think that area might be your first area of major resistance. I'm not sure if it'll get there today though. On the downside, this 220 we topped out a couple of times there back in July and a couple times in October, right around that area. So if we're to pull back, maybe you find some support at 220, Joel.
I think I got some little better numbers for our
Okay, do it.
listeners. Well, we're just creeping up here from 220 here. We got a nice rebound going from after we hit a high 225, 220. 220 is definitely the point where if it takes it out there, I do not want to be long. We're just creeping up here, making new highs as we speak, Dennis. But look at this gap here back in October when they had some bad earnings. The low was 234 on the day, and then a low of 234, then a pop, and then a gap down. So there's a good gap in here in the market. When the stocks come back up to fill those gaps, I think you're going to find some resistance at 230. It's just kind of in the middle there. So I think you're going to see some rust selling once you get to this 230 area. Nothing major there to lean on, except you had a couple bottoms in that level in October. So, hey, something's up 33 points. Someone's going to sell it, right? And I think 230 is going to be the level.
Moving on, there's lots of earnings here this morning. Procter & Gamble, one that we talk about quite a bit on the show, is actually trading down significantly, Joel. Stock's trading at 65 bucks. So low beta stock getting rocked on its earnings is down almost 2 points. I was looking at this one bottom earlier on at 65 65.81 and 65. I'm just trying to get 65.80 and 65.88. Obviously, we've cut right through that, so if we were to get back up to that area, maybe that area provides you some resistance now. Coming down, I don't know, we start taking out the 65 with serious size. Like, obviously, we're an hour and a half or hour 15 minutes away from the open here. So if we open up above 65, that probably gives you some support. I know we're trading slightly below it right now, but wait to see where the open is, and I'd use the whole number theory on this a little bit, Joel.
Dennis, this thing is down on 65,000 shares. It's down 2 points. I mean, I think just seems a little. I did not exactly see how bad the numbers were, but to me, anybody that's been shorting the stock, there was some big sellers at 67 yesterday. I don't know if they were exiting long-term positions or, just taking a short on the earnings play. Really some consolidation here around 65. Someone has that as their number. I would keep an eye on that as support. Going to the charts, we do have a double bottom here at 64 and a quarter, 64.17. Actually, those lows, that big update that you see there was the day that they announced all their cost-cutting measures. So 65, you don't buy it there. Look to buy it at 64.17, 64 and a quarter is going to be fantastic support.
Merck reported earnings here too, Joel. I actually have a trading position on in this one, so I'm going to limit my comments. But what's your take on Merck?
Well, Dennis, if it breaks above 39, it looks like this thing could really move. Really been holding 38 to 39, Dennis, for a real long time. Looks like it's on the verge of breaking out here at 39, but I'm sure there's some decent sellers there. Printed up to 38.93 in the pre-market, so I think it's going to have some rough time at 39, at least on the first time up. Not much volume, not much interest in this stock. And then 39.43 has been the 52-week high if Merck can really get up and get going.
And WDC reported last night. This was a wild one there, Joel. I'll let you give the after-hours range here because it is enormous in a couple minutes. But on the initial report, this thing looked like it beat. It popped over $2, then started pulling back. Then they're not liking the report. The thing's down 5 points now. So we've had, a 7 or 8 point after hours range on a $44 stock. This thing's been wild. I'm looking at this 39 and a quarter is where it's trading right now, but I'm looking back to April. We had a low of 37.97, 38.22, and 38.18, all within 3 days of each other. And I'm wondering if that whole 38 area might provide some good support if we get down there.
Yeah, Dennis, it got over $47.
$47, man. Whoever bought it up there is really here, and a whole lot of hurt here now because that 39, you lose 20%. You basically lost on the stock.
Right, and then we've traded down here. The pre-market low has been 38.69. Really finding a home here. 38.69, 38.75. Now the buyers have stepped up to 39. A little early in the pre-market here, but starting to form a little bit of a rounding bottom at this area. If the 39 doesn't hold, for sure 38 will. Coming back on the upside, all the rebounds have been capped at the $41 level, so keep an eye on that as resistance.
Ford Motor Company reported too, Joel. This stock really spiked on the initial report. $12.41 it traded up to.
Woohoo!
Now it's at $11.99, so somebody got really excited. This $12 has been really significant resistance. I know we traded through it a few times, but the whole 12 area has provided resistance. I do see institutional selling pressure there too. But we've traded up to 12.41, so maybe this 12 puts a lid on it right off the open or something, and then it pops through. I don't know, but whoever bought it 12.41 definitely a little bit overdone. I'd use this whole 12 as my swing number.
Did you see the volume on this in the pre-market?
What is it?
3 million shares.
Let's trade some stock.
Yeah. So I'd use 12 as a swing number. Since it traded so high, I'd be more apt to try and buy it going through 12 than short it. 12 has kept a lid on it for quite a few sessions. Has had 4 straight up days and looks like it's going to make it 5 today. The numbers probably are pretty good, but use that 12 as a swing number. That 12.41 number coincides a little bit with the April 5th high of 12.58, but 12 should be interesting to see if you can get above and hold 12.
You want to talk about a stock that's flying here, Joel. Expedia, EXPE, is up over 6 points. You ever use Expedia, Joel? Do you ever use that to go?
Oh, yeah, I do. Not enough to make it go up 6 points, though.
I've always been a Travelocity fan, but I have used Expedia a couple of times. The one time they messed, or it wasn't Expedia, but it was their insurance. I took the insurance on the one trip, and then I couldn't go due to a medical reason. This was last year when I was having a little bit of health problems, but I'm all healthy now. But regardless, so I took the insurance out, and the Expedia, whatever insurance company they go through, when said I had a pre-existing condition. I had to fight him and fight him and fight him on it. I mean, I had a doctor's note and everything. Took me 3 months, but I eventually got my money back. So that turned me off of Expedia just because of their insurance company. So I'm not saying Expedia is bad. I mean, they should analyze their insurance, whoever that company is that runs their insurance, because I was pretty ticked off about it. Just a personal story on it. Stock is trading way through to new 52-week highs here, obviously. 38.72 right now, Joel. Up $6. So it's off to the races. I'm looking at this 40 as just a big psychological barrier. If it gets up to there, maybe it finds some resistance.
Yeah, looking at this, 40.77 was a high, and then you also had a high at 42.01. We're talking about the '07 highs here in Expedia. Looking at the pre-market, though, Dennis, kind of hit a wall here at 40. Really no bogey to look at on the chart to confirm that level, but I keep an eye on 40 as minor resistance starting out, and then those other levels I mentioned, 40.77 and 42.01 would be the next areas of resistance. Coming back down, if it doesn't hold 38, then you better cancel your plans to own it.
Chevron numbers are coming out this morning. We're just a little bit ahead of them here. They're probably going to come out around 8:30. That's when they usually come out. It's 8:23 right now. So obviously if Chevron numbers cross here in the next couple of minutes, we'll let you know about it. But otherwise, let's just do a quick technical on Chevron just prior to the report, Joel.
Well, Dennis, that went the opposite way of ExxonMobil yesterday.
Pre-earnings run-up is what you're seeing there, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you had a whole host of resistance at 104, several tops there, and we didn't get to cover that yesterday, but you had to break out above 104. Looks pretty wide open now, Dennis, to like the 108 level. You never know how things are going to go in earnings, but I would look at major resistance at 108.23, and then coming back on the downside. I mean, if the numbers aren't good, it could easily slide back down to that 104, which was gapped up yesterday. Got a little 10-cent gap. But I'd use 105.64 as your swing number in that stock. Just to close out the show, Dennis, we haven't talked much about Apple. Just a quiet range yesterday. I think we need to wait to see whether it can break down below 600 or take out that 618 high post-earnings announcement.
I think it's that consolidation. You get a couple days here where it starts to consolidate, gets in a little tighter range, and I do believe the next track still might be up. I'm kind of biased to being up on this thing. I think it's going to consolidate for a bit, and then it might eventually start to blast off again. Try to take out that 620, and if it can take that out, maybe start talking about that 644 all-time high. If it trades below 600, though, Joel, then I'd get nervous.
Okay, Microsoft just kind of winding up here. You got 4 lows within 20 cents, and then you got 4 highs right in the same area, so that stock should be breaking out soon. And last stock we want to mention here, Wells Fargo, knocking on the door, major resistance here at 34, so let's keep an eye on that. A GDP number could be out here in a few minutes. I'm sure that's going to have an effect on the market. Look for support at the close if we start to go in reverse here at 1396.75, and no major resistance in the market until 1414 and a quarter, which was the high back on April 3rd. That's our show for today, folks, and we'll be back with you on Monday.